Hey guys, welcome back, and today I'm talking Pokemon again. So I've not had a video in a few days. I have been on holiday, but now I am back, and today we are talking baby Pokemon. So I'm going to rank for you from best to worst my favourite baby Pokemon, based solely on design. So starting from the very bottom, we are starting with Happiny. Now, if you've watched some of my previous Pokemon videos, you'll know that I do not like Chansey. And this is the same for Happiny. They have a very similar design, and it's just not good. I just don't like it. I don't like the whole shape. I don't like the whole vibe. I don't like the whole like egg sort of thing. I don't like the pinks that they've used. I feel like it could look so much better. The silhouette for me as well plays a really big part. It's just ugly. It's just not for me, so that one will go in last. Next up we have Chingling. Now Chingling is obviously Chimecho's baby version, and it's not particularly bad, but it's not particularly good. It's very much like meh for me. Like, yeah, sure, it's just a little bell. Like, there's nothing special about it. Nothing I like about it, but there's also nothing I really dislike about it. It's just very much, I'm very neutral towards it, so I don't have much of an opinion, which is why it's very low, because for me there's literally not anything to say about it. So next we have Budew. Budew is obviously Roselia's baby Pokemon, and I just much prefer Roselia because Budew has nothing special about it. Like, it reminds me too much of other Pokemon to be considered special. It's just quite boring for me. I don't think there's anything particularly special about it. Whereas Roselia has something different about the Pokemon. This is just a very much generic plant-based Pokemon for me. So I don't think it's special. I don't think it's really like necessary, you know what I mean? So that's why it is in this position. Next up we have Azurill, and I actually prefer Azurill to Marill, personally, just because I'm not a fan of like Marill's whole silhouette and kind of like shape design, whereas I think Azurill is a lot cuter and it's more uniquely designed, obviously with the huge part on the tail and how little he is. It's a lot more like uniquely designed than Marill is, so I do prefer it, but still it's nothing that's gonna like, you know, set my world alight. It's just, he's not a huge fan of Marill anyway, so Azurill's a little bit better, but still not making it into any of my favourites anytime soon. Next we have Magby. Again, nothing against Magby, but also nothing special. I think it's quite cute, could be like quite quirky, but there's nothing for me that makes it stand out more than the others that I've picked above it. I quite like the colour scheme. I think it does look like not a baby Pokemon. It kind of looks like an actual Pokemon, which is quite cool. Like, I think they did a good job of making it not seem like a fan-made sort of Pokemon, if you know what I mean, because some of the baby Pokemon I think don't fit as well, like Happiny for example, whereas I think Magby could be a Pokemon on its own, if you know what I mean. Next up we have Elekid, and not too much to say about Elekid. Like, I like the whole plug kind of theme that they were going for. Obviously Electabuzz is what is its next evolution, and I think the colour scheme very much shows that, you know, there's like very much the connection between Elekid and Electabuzz. So I think it worked well in that aspect. I just think that, again, it's nothing stands out to me, which is why it's kind of middle table. Like, it works for the Pokemon evolution line, but like for me it doesn't resonate with me too much, you know? Next up we have Cleffa, and Cleffa is very, very similar to Clefairy, I think. Like, I think this is the one that's probably the most similar to its evolution, because sometimes I get them mixed up at first glance, which is silly, I know, but yeah, I think it's very well done to fit the evolution line because it looks so similar. But because it looks so similar, there's also like, it's quite boring in a sense, because we already have Clefairy. Why do we need, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they could have made either Clefairy or Cleffa different to each other. Like, Clefairy for me is very, very middle of the table Pokemon for me, because there's nothing special about it. And seeing as Clefairy is quite similar to Clefairy, I feel like it's kind of a similar concept as like, it's just okay, you know. I don't really have a preference towards it, so again, very middle of the table. Next we have Smoochum, and I actually prefer Smoochum to Jinx. I'm gonna be shocked if anybody doesn't, because I am not a fan of Jinx's design. Not many people are. It's very, very odd and weird, but Smoochum to me, I don't actually hate Smoochum. Like, I think it's quite funny, I think it's quite cute. It's a lot better than Jinx is. But you can kind of like tell, I suppose, the influence from Jinx with kind of like the hair and that, but it doesn't look very much like Jinx, which is probably why it's a bit higher up on my list than it would have been if it was that similar to Jinx. But yeah, quite funny, quite cute. Nothing special again. But it's just a cuter baby Pokemon. Again, it doesn't really look like a proper Pokemon, but I suppose it works. And yeah, it's just nothing too much more to say about that one, really. Next we have Mantike, and Mantike is just a cute little I've completely forgot what it's called. Stingray? I've completely forgot what it's called, but anyway, cute, lovely water Pokemon. Very similar to its evolution again, but it is very cute. I like the colour scheme. I like the little face on it. I think it works really well, this one. So we're getting more into the tier of like the ones that I actually like quite like. So yeah, Mantike is up there. Again, I don't really have too much to say about it. It's just cute. It's just nice. And yeah. Next we have Bonsly, which obviously is Sudowwood's baby type Pokemon. But I think Bonsly works so well. So I think Bonsly could be like, say it didn't have its Sudowwood evolution line, Bonsly could be a Pokemon on its own, which I think is something that a lot of these baby type Pokemons do miss. But with Bonsly, I think they did it really well. They made it unique enough to like maybe stand on its own if necessary, but they also made it like as similar to Sudowwood so that you can tell it's part of the same evolution. So that's something I really like about Bonsly. But yeah, I think it's super cute. I like the silhouette. I think it's very unique. I think it's quite a unique design. And yeah, you can definitely see the influences and inspirations from Sudowwood, but not too similar, if you know what I mean. I think it just has such a great balance between differences and similarities between Sudowwood. Next we have Igglybuff, and I quite like Igglybuff. I think it's cute, I think it's funny. I probably do prefer it to Jigglypuff somewhat. The only difference is really the eye colour in Igglybuff. Igglybuff has a red eyes, whereas I believe Jigglypuff has green, same with the Wigglytuff. But yeah, I think it's a cute evolution line. Like, I think they all work really well together. Cute baby type Pokemon, definitely fits being a baby type Pokemon. But yeah, I just think they're a fun evolution line of Pokemon. They all have like, they're all very cohesively designed, which I like. And yeah, I think it's cute. I think it works well. There's nothing wrong really to say about it. It's just nice. Next we have Togepi. Now, I know a lot of people are huge Togepi fans. Like, I don't been a huge Togepi fan. He's just okay. Like, I suppose he's cute. Togepi, I prefer Togepi to its evolution. Purely because of like the silhouette. I think it's quite funny, quite comedic, quite cute. I like the little spikes on it. I'm not too much of a fan of like the colour scheme of the egg. However, I just think it works for this Pokemon. But yeah, it definitely suits, again, the baby type Pokemon vibe. And I could see it being a Pokemon on its own somewhat. Not as much as some of the others, but I do think that, you know, it's not unable to stand on its own 2 feet if it was just a Pokemon on its own, if you know what I mean. Next we have Wynaut, and I love Wynaut. I think it's so much better than Wobbuffet, but I think it's just super cute. I think the expression on its face like makes me smile. Like, it's so funny. I love the little ears that it has. I think it's ears. I love the little ears that it has. I like how blue it is. I just think it's super cute. And yeah, I think it has the same amount of similarities to Wobbuffet that you would think of an evolution line. But again, it's not too similar, if you know what I mean. They both have very different silhouettes and stuff like that. So yeah, I like Wynaut. In sixth place, we have Pichu, which is obviously Pikachu's baby Pokemon. And I feel like nobody who really dislikes Pichu. There's nothing to dislike about it, I think. I think it fits the Pikachu evolution line so well. It's just super cute. And yeah, I think it again has such a different silhouette to Pikachu, enough to make it different in that sense, but still obviously the colour scheme and everything matches Pikachu really well and makes it accurate and effective, I think. So yeah, not too much to say, it's just small, it's cute, but yeah, Pichu will be in sixth. In fifth place, we have Mime Jr. Now, Mime Jr. is a lot higher on this list than I expected it to be, but I think it's just because I find it really funny. He just looks like a little snowman to me, and he's so much less creepy than Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime's so weird, but I think it's funny. I don't think, however, that it could be a Pokemon on its own. I think it very much needs Mr. Mime there to be existence. I think it's too small and too... It just doesn't suit the vibe of being a sole Pokemon. But I think it suits, it's got obviously Mr. Mime's whole colour scheme, but again, it's just a lot smaller. I like the name, Mime Jr. It's just so, like, unoriginal, but then it works at the same time, because obviously Mr. Mime and Mime Jr. I just think it's quite clever, this baby Pokemon, and I think it works really well. I don't particularly love it, but I just think that there's something about it that like makes me smile. So this is why it's made it to fifth place. Fourth place, we have Munchlax. Now, who doesn't love Snorlax? So therefore, who doesn't love Munchlax? Obviously, I prefer Snorlax purely just because of like the silhouette and how big he is and how funny he is. But Munchlax is just like cute and funny as well. I don't like the spiky bits on his bottom half, but I think his face is really funny. I think you can clearly tell like the inspiration is from Snorlax, even though they do look quite different. Obviously he's kept the same colour scheme and that, but yeah, I feel like I just like him because it's Snorlax's baby Pokemon really, and like I feel like the name Munchlax is quite comedic, quite cute, quite funny. So yeah, Munchlax will be in fourth place. Third place, my third place baby Pokemon is Toxel. Now, I really like Toxel. I think it's really cute. It reminds me of kind of like a Triceratops kind of thing. I think it's classed as like a lizard, but I'm not too sure. But I love the colour purple, if none of you guys knew. And Toxel is very purple, as you can tell. So yeah, Toxel I just think Toxel's really cute. It just looks like a baby dinosaur to me. And I do love its evolution. I think Toxtricity is so cool. Like, I think it's just such a cool Pokemon. That's how I describe it. And while I feel like it's very different from Toxel in a sense, I do feel like I like how different it is. I don't think Toxel like properly suits being the before evolution, but standing on its own, like looking at Toxel, I would say that it's probably one of my favourites on this list. Literally just has its own little baby Pokemon. Just because I really like the design. It has a nice silhouette, I like the colour, and there's nothing bad to say about it. I like its evolutionary line, so yeah, it's quite a strong Pokemon for me in this category, so it's at third. In second place, baby Pokemon is Tyrogue. Now, I really like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. I don't like Hitmontop, but I really like them, and I think Tyrogue works really well as the prior evolution to those, because he just looks like a fighter, you know, and obviously Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, they're all fighters, and I just think it works really well. I like how unique the design is. It's quite humanoid, but in a way that is quite different. I like his whole head shape. I think that's really unique, and I like how he has like fighting clothes on as well, like the wrist wraps and everything like that. I just think he's really cool, to be honest, and I think he really works well for Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee as prior evolutions. I'm not even going to talk about Hitmontop because I don't like it. But yeah, Tyrogue is in second place for me. I also really like the name. I feel like Tyrogue is such an awesome name for a Pokemon. So that gets him extra points in second place. And finally, first place is Riolu. Now, who doesn't love Riolu? Everyone loves Lucario, but I really love Riolu. I feel like I probably prefer Riolu to Lucario. But he's just awesome. The colour scheme is awesome. The whole design of him with his ears, with the mask and everything like that. I think he's just so cool. He's the coolest baby Pokemon by a long shot, I think. And him and Lucario work so well together as an evolutionary duo. But I just feel like you can't beat Riolu in this category because he's so strongly designed and everybody likes him. Like, that is is a popular opinion, I would say. I'm basic, guys, I'm sorry, but Riolu is my favourite baby Pokemon. So thank you all for listening to me waffle about baby Pokemon for a long time. Let me know what you guys think, who are your favourites, who are your least favourites. And yes, stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.